Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the How Can I Help My Child series. It is 9 o'clock. Sorry, we had to move the show to 9 o'clock today because we had the weather was really erratic at 8:30. It was raining hard in Abuja, where I live, and so the network kept on fluctuating. We had like a really bad weather network issue last episode, and I didn't want to have a poor video like that again today. All right, so today we are off again talking about what we can do to help our children excel, or how we can help our children succeed basically. And it is very important that as parents we are looking at this and we are constantly asking ourselves these questions. Parenting is not about being perfect, it is about giving your best effort, dear parents, giving your best effort to help your child become the best version of themselves. I would take that again. Parenting is not about being perfect. It's not about you being perfect. Neither is it about your child being perfect. It's all about you giving your best effort, putting in everything within your power to empower your child, to skill your child, to support your child in order for that child to become the best version of themselves. My name is Maribeth Chima, and I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources. I am also the proud matron of the Mastermind Circle, a peer mentorship and accountability group that we run for young children and preteen. And our goal in the Mastermind is to ensure that we raise children who can be self-aware, children who can lead and direct themselves, children that will take the front stage in their own lives, because we do not want to raise entitled children, but rather we want to raise resourceful children who are effective in the things that they do and are able to navigate the world effectively, because we know that our children will not always have us picking up after them. They will not always have us taking care of them. A time will come in their lives where they will have to take the lead in their lives. So why wait for that time? Okay, rather than start right now to help them build the muscles that they need, to help them develop the skills that they need, so that when that time comes, our children will be soaring, our children will be thriving, and not just surviving. Welcome to this show. And if you are a parent and some of these things I have said here happen to be your goal, then you are in the right place. Let's do this. All right. Before we get on, get right into the crux of the matter. If you are here with us right now and you are on YouTube and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, whether you're catching the replay or you are in the live session right now, why don't you go ahead and click the subscription button so that you can join us right now and be a part of this transformational experience. All right. And yes, if you are on Facebook, why don't you go ahead and tag a friend to be here to join us on the show. And if you can see me, you can hear me clearly, why don't you say something in the comments so that I know that I have company and I know that I can move, I can roll. All right. It's very important that you give me this feedback, because sometimes we come live and we realize that I am showing only to myself. Sometimes that happens and I don't know. We need to, check that setting where, people on Facebook are not able to see us till after the show. But if you can see me right now and you can hear me right now and you are on Facebook, it will do me, a lot of good that you can give me that feedback, that you can see me and you can hear me. All right. So yes. Tag somebody on Facebook if you're here. Tag someone who needs to be here, especially if they are parents or caregivers of young people and preteens. We're talking about your children between ages 6, right, and 13 thereabouts. But I like it when toddler parents come for this show, because I like to say always that you don't go to war on the day of war. You prepare your arsenal. You have your arsenal in place. You have your toolbox loaded as a parent before you get to every phase of your children's life. So if you're a toddler parent, you did not make a mistake. You are in the right place, because now you will be equipping yourself for the time where your children become school age children and preteens. So I always want you to take away something as toddler parents when you come to the show. So yes, we're just going to go right in. So target toddler parents, target parents of a young child, target parents of a preteen, okay? And target parents of teenagers, why not? Some of us have teenagers who have so many gaps in, so many gaps in their development and growth, skills and all of that. And you can still pick a thing or two that you can apply with your teenagers. Now, if we are all here and ready, then let's move. Okay, I'm going to be teaching, this topic into different, into different areas now. We are talking today. Have I talked about our topic for today? Our topic today is, how can I equip my child? What skill do my child, who is a young child or preteen, need? What relevant skills do our young children and preteens need today in order for them to thrive today and as they grow in the future? I hope you know that the whole process of growth and development has been carefully curated by the maker, such that there are skills that are relevant for every phase of the child's life. Now, these skills are like the building blocks that will form the rest, that will form, the adults that we want the child to become. Now, if we miss these skills at the time where our children are ready, at the time when nature has prepared them to, acquire or to, get the skills, if we miss it, what happens is it becomes more difficult for our children to build or develop the skills. All right. Now, we're not saying that if we miss a phase in their life, or if the children miss, the phase or a window period for learning, the child can never learn again. No, there is always room for learning. But what we're saying is, if we can get them to learn the things that they should learn at the right time, then the child learns it without stress. Now, it means that the child gets to learn it as a life skill. The child gets to learn it as something that the child does not have to struggle. So it becomes second nature. It becomes normal, right? The child learns it in the most authentic way. So that way it becomes a part of the child's life. It's not the child pushing and forcing and, having to exert so much, of themselves in order for them to learn that skill. And as I said earlier, it's learned in the most authentic way. So meaning the child gets to learn that skill in such a deep and excellent way that the child is excellent with that skill than someone who has to struggle to learn the skill much later. Apart from that, the child will have to be self-motivated to a huge extent in order for the child to learn that skill later. So what it means is more effort is needed, a lot of self-motivation is needed, and a lot of support is needed in order for the child to learn the skills much later. If we can introduce and stimulate and create the right environment at the right time, then the child gets to learn this skill in the most authentic way, with the most, in the most ease, right? With the most ease, in the most authentic way. And of course, the child is able to internalize it without even struggling. So, dear parents, now that we know our role is to support our children, right? Is to make all the effort within our power to support our children in order for our children to be the best version of themselves. Wouldn't you rather help the child learn something at the right time, so that the child does not have to reparent themselves later, so that the child does not have to struggle to learn a skill that they could have learned with the most ease and in the most authentic way? All right. So remember, you will have a chance to parent your child for the rest of, to be their parent for the rest of their lives, but you will not have the You will not have the opportunity to influence your child for the rest of their lives if you do not connect with them today and you do not help them achieve the things that they need to achieve today. So you will always be their parent, but you may not be able to influence them as they grow older. You will always be their parent, but you may not be able to teach them the things that you could have taught them today later. You will always be their parent, but they may not listen to you later. So now that you have their hearts and you have their ears, why wouldn't you put yourself in that place? Make all the effort to help your child today become the best versions of themselves. It is our job to do this. It is our job to support our children in this way. So I'm going to be talking about these relevant skills in two ways. I will talk about them like, as basic skills that our children need. And tomorrow I'll be talking, about executive functioning skills. Very, very key executive functioning skills. All right. These are skills that, they're a set of skills basically that our children need to navigate, to manage themselves, manage their resources, and achieve the goals and the milestones in their lives effectively. So executive functioning skills is a set of skills that children begin to acquire right from when they are toddlers. So these are skills that can only happen when we create the right stimulation in their environment in order for the children to develop these skills. Executive functioning skills will help your child prepare themselves for the success that it is that you are visualizing for them in the future. But today, let's just look at skills generally. Let's look at basic skills that our children must have, or basic skills that are relevant for your young children and your preteens. All right. The first basic skill, the very, very first basic skill that your child must have if you want your child to, achieve their full potential for every phase of their life. If you want your child to be living at their full potential for every phase of their life, I hope you know that when our children live, right, their full potential, what it means is it makes them fulfilled, okay, for every phase of their life. It makes your 2-year-old a fulfilled 2-year-old. It makes your 2-year-old, it makes life easy, right? It makes your 2-year-old a 2-year-old who is not stressed, right? So you are not stressed. Your 2-year-old is not stressed. Your 2-year-old is fulfilled. So basically, your child is living in the most, what's the word now? Your child is living in the most, there's a particular word I like to use. Your child is living an exuberant life, right? Your child is living an exuberant life and your child is fulfilled for every level. Now, when our children do not have skills for every level, for each level of their life, they struggle at that level. All right, so your 2-year-old could be struggling because they don't have requisite skills to thrive at 2. Your 10-year-old will be struggling because he does not have the skills to thrive at that age. Okay, it is said that when you cannot do something, check again. It means that you do not know the principles, or you do not know the principles, and you do not have the skill to achieve that thing. So when you are failing at something, okay, check. Most likely is you either do not know the principles and you do not have the skills to thrive at that thing, or you are not applying the principle and the skills that you need to excel at that thing. So that is how failure happens. And failure can happen at all levels. Your 1-year-old could be failing at something that they should be winning at, just because you have not given them the opportunity to learn the principles that it takes to excel in that thing, and you have not taught them the skill that it is that can help them excel at that thing. So yes, children will struggle when they do not have relevant skills for, to thrive at the level where they are at. And you don't want to do that to your child. One reason why you don't want to do that to your child, it's because Confidence and self-esteem is built from your ability to achieve, right? Confidence and self-esteem. Self-esteem is built from your ability to achieve. Now, every time you achieve something, you believe in yourself a notch more. Every time you do something, you start something, and you're able to achieve it on your own. This happens to us as adults and also happens to our children. When the child is able to achieve something on their own, you will see a sense of satisfaction. You will see a sense of victory. You will see the child begins to believe of themselves as a champion. Yeah, parents, if you wake up in the morning, if you like call your children champions every day, affirmations are good. Affirmation builds the mind, helps them begin to believe. But until they are able to achieve these things, something within them does not agree to that affirmation that they can. So what affirmations are supposed to do is, affirmations are supposed to pump us and help us see the vision that is possible. It is now the work that we put and our ability to do and achieve that thing that confirms that vision that we have seen. So yes, affirmations are good. They will create the vision. It is by doing that we have the outcome. It is when you have the outcome that is easy to you, for you to believe without a doubt that you can. So this is why we need to get our children to the point where our children are not just believing that they can, but our children are truly becoming, okay, by achieving, so that they can build their sense of self, they can build their sense of their sense of self-sufficiency, right? And then of course they can build their sense of self-awareness, so that nobody can say to them, oh, you are not enough. When they know I have achieved, it is through achieving that you begin to, that you agree that you are enough. So the little wins, these tiny little wins, is how our children are building their self-esteem. And so when your self-esteem is right, it will come out as boldness. It will show up as confidence. So if you are not allowing your children do the things that will build their self-esteem, then you will not allow them become bold. You will not allow them become confident. Dear parents, that your child is noisy, that your child fights everybody, that your child insults everybody, that your child talks anyhow, is not confidence. Let's not get it twisted. Sometimes that is their lack of self-esteem that is showing. So somehow, they would have to look for something to make you see them, because they are not winning and they are not shining the light that brings people, that brings kings, that brings people to the brightness of their rising. Do you understand? So when we get our children doing, then we get our children building their self-esteem, and of course developing that powerful confidence and boldness that they need to thrive in the 21st century. All right, so this is what we're doing today. This is what we're talking about today. The outcome, the independent child is able to navigate, basically, when you help your children become independent, you help your children learn how to navigate on their own. So 5 basic skills. Let's go quickly. I'm going to be sharing 5 basic skills. Of course, they are much more than this. All right. But this is a 15 to 30-minute show. So I will come and I will give you nuggets. We will come and we will share hacks with you. All right. What we want you to do is take these hacks and begin to use them to reflect and think, okay, how can I apply this in my home? But more than this, you need to have yourself in communities where you are growing as a parent. You want to be in communities where you are listening and seeing other people's experiences. You are sharing your own experiences. You are getting help and support, hand holding through your process. It will help you. It will set you apart as a parent. And you also, because your child is on a journey of their own, because your child will be supported in order for them to take the front stage of their life and navigate that life on their own. You want to, while they are getting support, you want to put them in systems also where they are made to do, where they are made to take charge of their own journey. All right. You want a support system in their teachers. You want support system in their mentors. You want support system in a peer mentorship or peer influence, community where they have like minds and people who share the same values as them. All right. And this is why we run the Mastermind Circle, a peer mentorship and accountability for young children and preteens, children between 6 and 14. It's a yearly subscription program where we are with your child. We work with your child for the entire year, all day, all week, all month. Yes, from September of one year to the 30th of August of the next year. We are with your child, supporting them in ways that you cannot even begin to imagine. The children have access to us. The parents have access to us. They have access to community of like-minded children, children who are inspiring each other. Your child can begin to see themselves for the leaders that they are, and your child will learn how to serve because leadership is service. Your children will learn the power of consistency. They will learn how to set goals for themselves. They will learn how to plan to execute their goals. And guess what? They will get accountability that will ensure that they achieve those goals. Like what we're doing right now, we have setting goals that we have set from June till August of this year. And I bet you will hear the testimony because every child is prepped to achieve those goals. So this is it. No. So get yourself in communities and get your children into communities that can build them. Okay. So number one, you want your children to be able to regulate their emotions. Emotional intelligence or emotional regulation will save your child in every area. So if you can raise your child, if you can nurture your child, dear parents, to be able to regulate their emotions, what you are doing is you are allowing or you are helping your child know how to build relationships. You are helping your child know how to, control themselves in every situation. You are helping your child know how to sit in the classroom and learn for longer periods. You're helping your child manage the small or the big emotions that could actually destabilize them. So if you want to raise a child who is stable, you want to raise a child who will do well academically, you want to raise a child who is able to problem solve, you want to raise a child who is able to, that's able to walk through the turbulence of emotions, right, that they will experience as human beings, then you want to start right now, from the day they are born, right, to help them learn how to regulate their emotions. Of course, children cannot regulate their emotions on their own because it is not a follow-come skill. It is a skill that the children will learn from their primary caregivers. So it starts from the day the child is born. The way you speak to the child, the language of your environment, the language of your environment. And that language of your environment is not whether you're speaking Igbo or you're speaking French. That language of your environment is the temperature of that environment, is the emotional stability or turbulence of that environment. How are the people in that environment talking? What are they saying to each other? What is the pitch of their voice? How are they, what are the expressions of their face? Your child, as young as 1 minute old, is soaking up everything in the environment. God has created the child to be able to use their senses, all of their senses, all the senses that all right? God has created the child to be able to use all of those senses at the same time to soak up every little thing that is sensorial in their environment. Sound, smell, expressions, all of it, your child is seeing and your child is feeling. If they cannot even see yet, they can feel, they can hear, and all of that. So basically, your child is getting instructions. Your child is getting programmed for emotional regulation or emotional chaos right from the day that the child is born as a result of the environment that the child is in. So if you're having children, you have not started having children, please. This is the time to take trainings on emotional intelligence. If you have young children, this is the time to take courses on emotional intelligence. This is the time to put yourself on a program that can help you manage your emotions. If you have older children, this is the time to learn all the techniques that you can apply apply to become a more emotionally stable parent, because the brain is relational. Now, as you did do them, now in the child is see them. As you mirror it, that's what the child is seeing. So it is what you mirror that the child will become. So emotional regulation is very key, and it's a top relevant skill if you're raising children who are young and preteens. The next one is you want to build their literacy skill and their ability to, and their love for reading. Right, you want to build their literacy skills and their love for reading. All right, now what you are doing is you are giving your child language. So when you build that skill, you're giving your child language. We live in a world where we will communicate. Okay, so here communication comes in. So when you're building your child's literacy skills, you're building, how to speak, and you're helping your child recognize how to speak. So we can call it literacy, communication, and love for reading. Let's put it together. I want to give you 5. I didn't want to make it long. If not, I would have separated these things. Okay. But hey, look at it this way. You're building their literacy skill. Literacy skill meaning how they express themselves, what they say, and all of that. Speak the language you want your child. Thank you, Francisca. All right. Pick the language you want your child to speak. And as I said, this includes both the dialect, but the tone, what tone do you want your child to speak? If you are a screaming, shouting parent, be sure of one thing, that you're going to raise a screaming, shouting child. But if you're a parent who wants your home to be that space where people can relate to each other respectfully, people can talk to each other about how they feel, and they are giving audience, then you have to create that environment in your home, an environment where everyone is important and everyone is giving an audience, an environment where everyone is talked to with rich language, with emotionally stable expressions. You want to have that, an environment where your children learn to speak with a kind of intonations and whatever it is that you want to have them speak in, an environment where your children are, you have print rich environment where your children begin to see books, your children begin to see, you begin to introduce your children to books, you introduce them to books, let them get comfortable with prints, let them get comfortable with letters and pictures and all of that. But you want to introduce it in a way that is beautiful, in a way that is exciting, because an activity with a sense of satisfaction is what will help the child become motivated. That's how the child wants to learn, right? When you introduce learning in an exciting way. So you want to introduce them to books as early as possible. And a great way to do this is by starting with bedtime stories. So with bedtime stories, they get to listen to language, they get to listen to vocabulary, they get to see pictures and appreciate pictures, they get to get familiar with prints, and all of that. And we are always here to help you with these things. We have this amazing book. It's called Playtime Stories for Champions. It's for children from 0 to age 10. Right here, we have beautiful activities that you want to start using. Do you know when you sing rhymes, especially those old ones? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder. When you sing that to your little baby, now listen, I did not go twinkle, twinkle. You want to introduce them to the soft tones from the beginning, and all of that. Do you know this is literacy? This is you already introducing literacy, the rhymes, the words, the repetitions. All of this is you already helping your child to be rich, in their literary skills. When you now read stories to them, now this is full of activities. We have about 30 activities in this book that you can create and enjoy with your toddlers up to your 10-year-olds. Your older kids, your 8, 7-year-old children can actually, create this, environment. They can build these activities on their own, and get to do it, especially now that it's summer holiday. All right. So this is it. You can use this for the whole summer, and every day they have an activity to dive into. We also have 2 amazing books that are out this summer. All right. One of them is all stories about African heroes who have gone ahead of us. So we want to listen to those stories, we want to listen to stories of African icons and all of that. And the other ones is grandpa's stories. Grandpa is going to sharing knowledge and wisdom with our children. This summer, we got you, okay? Get set, just get ready for reading, because when you do this, you're equipping your children with relevant skills that they will need today and will build them for the future that they are heading to. All right. The next one is social skills. Help your children be able to connect with people. Okay. It starts in your home. How do you connect with your child? What audience do you give your child? Are you the one that when people come into the house, you tell them, go, 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 go inside, go inside? No, your mates are not here. How are they going to learn how to make conversations? How are they going to learn the right way to do exchanges? How are they going to learn how to break the ice when they meet people? How are they going to learn how to connect with people? We live in a world where if your child is not socially skilled and doesn't know how to connect with people, your child is going to be isolated. This is the world where isolation is not it. And you do not want to raise a child. I mean, the world is such that the children are becoming more and more isolated. And if your only problem is your children making money and all of that, it's okay. Oh, they can be isolated. They can be isolated. In fact, they can stay in their bedroom and make millions and even make billions in their bedroom these days. Okay, there are all kinds of skills out there, right? But it is you that will come back here and be looking for help. Oh, I don't know. He doesn't like people. He doesn't like boys. He doesn't like girls. He doesn't want to get married. He doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't talk to me. He doesn't do this. All he does is his phone. All he does is his gadget. See, the world, the tech world is created, that's environment where you can actually be isolated. But if you know the things that go on with isolation, it may not be that which promotes the culture, the family traditions, the family, the whole essence of living, in community and family and all of that. So you want to raise children, who can. And of course, they maximize their abilities and they maximize their opportunities when they are able to partner and collaborate. So even if wealth is your only problem, or money, I don't want to even call it wealth, okay, your children will still need collaborations and all of that. So you don't want to raise a sociopath in this generation. All right. So social skills, very key. Self-management. You must raise children who know how to manage themselves. When children manage themselves, they're able to manage their emotions, they're able to manage their emotions, they're able to manage and care for themselves, their personal hygiene, they're able to think of other people, okay? They're able to think of you. That is how they learn how to show empathy. I mean, okay, we'll come to empathy. That's how they learn how to support you in your home. That is how they bring their energy into your home. So in self-management, you will have to teach your children how to take care of their environment. You have to teach them how to be contributors in their environment. That is where doing chores will come in. All right. So that I am hungry and I don't have to wait for mommy to cook for me. I can cook. My older or younger siblings are hungry and I can jump in there. I can manage myself. I can manage my environment. The whole house doesn't have to be smelling and stinking just because there is no house help, or the house help, or the whatever, the domestic staff is on holiday. Okay, we don't all have to be dirty people because COVID struck, or because there is something else that has forced us to be on lockdown. If nothing taught us anything, I hope the lockdown during COVID taught us something, so that we know that our children need to know how to manage themselves, manage their environment, and manage the things, their resources, basically. All right. So this is very key. This is how they learn to manage their finances. This is how they learn to invest, in people. It's a lot. It's a lot. We can pack all of this in this short show. That is why your child should be with us in the mastermind circle, because these are the things that we teach the children consistently when they are with us. The final one is you can raise a child in this world today that does not understand empathy. Let your children know how to put themselves in other people's shoes. Let them know how to put themselves in other people's position. Let them know how to, be and let other people live. Let them know that there is something called perspective. How they see things is going to be different from how the next person sees it. They need to believe in what they know and they are confident about. And of course, they need to appreciate that other people believe in what they can believe. If you have the power to convince them amicably or decently, okay, your ability to convince people is a financial skill, is a life skill. So if you're able to sell That's the word. Your ability to sell, right? Your ability to negotiate, to sell to the next person is a very important skill. Okay, so add that to the list. Now, when you're able to sell, then you're able to sell your ideas, you're able to sell your perspective, you're able to sell your goods, you're able to sell your products, you're able to sell your rent, you're able to sell everything when you have that ability, right? Now, when you can do this, then that's fine. Then you see that you do not have to drag people, insult people, disrespect people for you to sell your perspective to them. You are able to comport yourself. You have knowledge that is deep and that is superior. When you have superior knowledge because you are knowledgeable, then you are able to convince or sell your ideas, your ideology, and your perspective, and people will be won over, okay, without you having to become what do you call it? A fanatic, right? What do you call those people? You don't become fanatical. You don't become discriminative. You don't become insulting. You don't become, forceful, because you don't indoctrinate everyone by fire by force. All right. You understand the place of being, and you understand the skill that you need to get people on your side. All right. So when you do this, it comes, the root of it is empathy. Okay. So from this tender age, we want to teach them empathy. As they learn empathy, it begins to spiral into all of these things I'm talking about. It's from empathy that your children also learn to honor you. So it's not about obedience, do this. No, no, no. It's not your children pretending, okay, or taking a new persona just because they want things from you. And when they are done with getting from you, they become tigers that you cannot even influence at all because you were trying to use force. No, it is from empathy that your children, you empathize with them. You mirror empathy to them. They in turn learn empathy. They empathize towards you. You'll empathize towards your vision. They empathize, and you like that. It's easy for them to believe. It's easy for them to trust. It's easy for you to trust them, and you see you can build a wonderful relationship that way. And your child is able to take that and leave that in the world, basically. So we have come to the end of the show for today, and we extended it by 6 minutes. We are trying very hard to keep to 30 minutes. We will. All right. If you don't have our books yet, then which part of the world are you sitting? Your child is missing. Go grab our books. We have bedtime stories for champions. Amazing. Talks about young children doing amazing things around the world. You can get our books on Amazon. You can get from our seller store. We'll put the link right here after the show. You can also reach out to us on our number, and with that, you are able to, pay for it and pick up from, major cities in Nigeria. Okay, so you can get this one. We have Christmas stories. It's not a religious book. It is talking about what Christmas was like for us growing up in Africa. That's what it was about. The egungu, the sharing rice for your Muslim neighbors, all of that beautiful things, going to the village with your cousins and all of that. The things our children don't see a lot today. Let's keep it in their faces so that they know who they are and where they're coming from. We have young and money smart. You must have heard me talk about money. I love talking about money, especially with children, because I know if some of us knew what we know or what we can teach our children today, we'll not see our back. All right, so let's do that for the children. All right, unlocking excellence, skills beyond the classroom. Okay, you have all of the skills you need. All right, now this one I talk, you need to plan, parents, plan for these children. It is your job to do everything within your efforts. Do all within your power to, equip them. All right, so this book will help you put the right effort. Okay, and then if your child is not reflecting, what are they gained in this world if they don't know how to stop and think? All that emotional intelligence, let them learn to pour their thoughts out in this all-time book. This book is good for any year. Inside there is no year, so anybody can use it for any year. Okay, right here, and you can get copies of all of this. And yeah, some of what I taught today came from this book. I was talking about the dependency phase. This is a bit of my story as a young parent. So this is our only parenting book, and it will do you a great deal of good if you can read it, dear parents, especially if you're a parent of a young child. Have a fantastic day. Thank you for joining me. And you can still join me at 1 p.m. when we have our weekly show. All right, so you can join. We come with another topic altogether in our weekly show, right? The skill of show. So join me at 1 p.m. if you have a minute. You should put your mark your calendar. Set your alarm and join me at 1 p.m. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you later in the day. And of course, at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow. Bye.